Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. Since moving into the 2020s, it feels like we were finally able to shake that not like most girls trope that we were unfortunately burdened with for the decade prior. This has definitely been reflected in the fashion trends we've seen, with people being more willing to embrace the ultra feminine styles. From the 2020 cottagecore era to the hype around barbiecore and the rebranding of coquette over and over again. These styles that were perhaps once considered more on the niche side of things have well and truly made their way to the mainstream, with a heavy emphasis on girlhood and nostalgia. Of course, this all came to a head earlier this year when the bow trend reached its peak form. Unsurprisingly, we started to see people do a full switch up, even if they were loving bows just a week prior. I don't know if it's just my wishful thinking, but I do feel like we still have time before the full pendulum swing takes place, which it will, because it always does. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying my feed being filled with what is dubbed the shoujo girl aesthetic. If you're wondering what the hell shoujo is even referring to, it is pretty much a demographic in the anime and manga community that is stories targeted towards teen girls. This is a video about fashion, so I'm not gonna get too into it, but there is a lot of misconception about shoujo just equaling romance, which obviously isn't the case. There is a wide array of different stories that fall under this umbrella. You could expect a range of different fashion, from high-end to traditional, New York City street style, uniforms, all different alternative J fashion subcultures. I will say, from what I've seen with the trending aesthetic, they have kind of taken on that same stereotype in a way. At this point, if you're doing shoujo outfits and not including a white flowy skirt, be prepared for 12-year-olds in the comments to tell you you're not doing it right. And that's actually something else I've seen more and more discourse on recently that I do find interesting. I think is with the popularity of Dress to Impress, and you have different demographics participating and having just an entirely different reference in mind for the one concept given. And that's where I see this headed as well. Even already, I just saw a TikTok, this adorable outfit. She was like, is it giving 2010s shoujo? I was thinking, yes, absolutely. I opened the comments, they seem to disagree. The main gist being like, oh, it's not frilly enough. The accessories aren't dainty enough. Things along those lines. Whereas to me, I think that that touch of quirky, questionable element makes a lot of sense. Like, think along the lines of mid-2000s to 2010s Disney Channel styling. Like, there's something off about it, but you still love it. But again, since shoujo is such a big umbrella term, depending on your particular source material, you could have a completely different idea than me. If you are looking to broaden your references with, I guess, some old recommendations, then today's video sponsor might come in handy, because you are able to unblock content from around the world whilst keeping yourself safe online. It is award-winning VPN Surfshark. Surfshark is a virtual private network available to download now as an app or browser extension. All it takes is a couple of quick and easy clicks to ensure your peace of mind whilst browsing. They protect all of your personal data by encrypting the information sent between your device and the internet. That means no more companies and bots keeping tabs on you. You can also use the clean web feature to prevent ads, tracking, malware, and phishing attempts. I don't know how many of you can relate, but I actually need a few devices going out once just to keep myself on task. And thankfully, Surfshark has our back, because they offer unlimited devices under just one account, so you always feel that sense of security. And of course, you can also change your virtual location, allowing you to unblock and access content from around the world. Every time I've traveled in the last 5 years, this has been an absolute essential for me. Obviously, it keeps me safe when I'm logging into hotel Wi-Fi, but also, I can't live without RuPaul's Drag Race, and I watch it on Stan, which is only available in Australia, so I always need to change my location settings. But you can try it all risk-free, because Surfshark offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can use my code SPOTLIGHT to score an exclusive deal. At the moment, they're offering 4 extra months for free. You can check it out via the links on screen, or there's more info down below in the description box. I wanted to start out with something that is an absolute classic in my books, and that's this cute, whimsy wintertime sort of aesthetic. Often in shoujo manga, there can be some sort of emphasis on the seasons, particularly winter, since it does line up with the holidays as well. This is a completely unrealistic experience for those of us in Australia, which is why I think I end up romanticizing it even more. But regardless, I just love how cozy this looks. I think the key is definitely the scarf. It's actually pretty common for some sort of scarf related cliche, so it just feels like a shoujo girly must. And of course, we have the infamous white maxi skirt, but here we're trying to repurpose it after seeing it styled so much throughout the summer. So sticking to a very similar concept, but obviously just applicable for a completely different season. This time the white skirt is in the form of a mini, but it did feel extraordinarily short, so I thought it'd be fun to team it up with a pair of tights underneath. I'm aware that the fact that they're lace kind of defeats the purpose of creating more modesty, but you get the idea. And a baby doll top would definitely be considered another staple silhouette. This one is actually originally supposed to be pajamas, but no, way too cute to not be styling for every day. Just moving away slightly from that more soft girl vibe that TikTok has seemingly attached onto the shoujo girl aesthetic. I get it, it's not the sort of thing you would expect for a more innocent protagonist such as Sawako. However, I would expect to see it in some of the characters that are categorized under popular girl. It's still very trendy and mainstream, but there's just a little bit more flair to it, almost like the tinsiest bit of gal inspo. I think that's mostly coming through the skirt having the leopard and floral clashing prints. And despite that being a bit more of a bold option, what we've paired with it is still just the classics, the earmuffs, the vest, and of course, the cowboy boots. It really doesn't matter what media you're referencing. If it's from the 2000s, then the concept of jeans and a cute top is gonna be relevant. I went with light wash and bootcut for the jeans, and then on top add some interest with ruffles and lace. Now I'm definitely guilty of someone who's always doing too much, but I love the simplicity of this. Like, I'm actually sad that I missed out on the height of this era. And to transition this into the cooler weather, of course, we needed a shoujo girly approved coat. Originally I purchased it because it reminded me of something straight out of Hachi's wardrobe. Absolutely no regrets, especially considering it was under $20. Personally, I think it would be considered borderline criminal if I did this video without an outfit that featured a sailor collar. So here we are. This is one of my favorite blouses at the moment. Super cute on its own, even cuter when teamed with a cardigan though. I really love the addition of the beanie bonnet situation, but I know it's not what you would consider typical for this styling. In a perfect world, I'd be complimenting every one of these outfits with an iconic hairstyle. Unfortunately, I have quite thin hair, so most attempts end in a failure, which is a real shame because I know they would just elevate these outfits so much. In a way, this is quite a similar concept to the last one, with almost a nod to uniforms, but this time opting for a pinafore instead. Something about it feels a bit more old school to me. If the outfit was to be illustrated, then I definitely picture it in like a marmalade boy art style, so I guess early 90s. One thing I wish I could change is definitely the bag. The crossbody just isn't working, but unfortunately I didn't have the right type of shoulder bag. This utility one is definitely on my wish list though. Like I mentioned, I'm definitely partial to some more eclectic looks. I blame series like High School Debut and especially Lovely Complex, so Risa was kind of my muse for these next couple of outfits. And don't get me wrong, you could totally just wear this as the zip up and cargo pants and still be very much on brand. But I just really love how the outfit comes to life once I layer on this sheer skirt, particularly since I kept that utility belt on. You can't really tell on camera, but the track jacket says heaven in block letters, which just feels so auto-generated manga outfit to me. I'm sorry, I just really love this one. I'm upset that the weather's warmed up so much already because I'm dying to wear this out. Sticking to a very similar feel here, but I wanted something that specifically had camo print, and the fact that these also featured a capri length was ticking 2 items off my list. It's also just another good option of those of us who are fans of dresses over pants. This obviously being a more cropped version than the last, and this length of dress is actually my favorite, where realistically it's too short to wear on its own, but that means it almost leans into tunic sort of territory, which just teams up perfectly with something layered underneath. For the most part, I've been leaning towards outfits that would be considered traditionally girly girl, I suppose, but I just had to mix things up a little bit with an outfit you would expect to see in a series like Shugo Chara. And the main reason I didn't do more of these outfits is because I already have full videos dedicated to Ayazawa styling, which this is definitely very reminiscent of. So if this sort of styling is more your speed, then please let me redirect you to some of those videos. I realized I hadn't styled fur trim boots yet and needed to change that immediately, so created this entire look around the shoes, but I think it actually turned out really cute. Of course, that meant leaning back into that wintertime wonderland theme, and what better way to do that than with the snowflake motif. Oh, and also I totally forgot to point out this is my one and only go-to shoujo hairstyle inspired by Kira from the manga Mars. I've been rocking this consistently ever since Colleen recommended the series to me. Not necessarily always included in the series itself, but very common to have artwork featuring some sort of cowboy themed outfit, which can be a really fun idea for summer. I'm definitely looking forward to playing around with it. I like today's outfit, but it just kind of feels like something's missing. I'm thinking perhaps I need to switch the vest out for one that creates a bit more of a contrast. This is definitely a top contender for one of my favorite outfits of the video. Let me know your thoughts, but something about the yellow dress is just iconic. And every time I do this combo of sundress over jeans, I'm instantly reminded of this look from Haruhi. Truly just been living in my brain rent-free for years at this point. And I'm sorry, but I'm also just obsessed with the fact that the bandana perfectly matches the jeans. I look straight out of a summertime episode. For another more summer adjacent look, I broke out the denim cutoffs and teamed it with this adorable cherry print baby doll top. Another one from the pajama section, mind you. Since the pattern is so small, it just wasn't quite popping enough on camera for me, so I decided to add the red cardigan and also pattern clash with the gingham bag. And like I was saying earlier, this is another one that would eat with a cute hairstyle. This to me is peak shoujo aesthetic and you cannot change my mind. We've stuck to a simple color palette. Mind you, manga is in black and white, so it's good that we're not relying on our color choices. Not only do we have the baby doll blouse, but we've layered it over a tank top. Thank you, extra points. We have the ever so subtle pattern clash, and above all else, the abundance of unnecessary accessories. Not gonna lie, I had no idea where to slot this outfit in, but I did know we were in desperate need of another long skirt option. Plus, I wanted to round it up to 15 looks. Denim skirts have been popular for quite a while. The fact that this one is A-line really hits the brief, and I love the interest it creates by having the two tones. And I mean, come on, did you really think I was gonna go this entire video without throwing on my trusty lace scarf at least once? And to be fair, I think it perfectly tied together this look. I'm just so happy to get this video out there. I've been meaning to film it for the longest time and I do miss my anime related content, so hopefully you enjoyed it too. Let me know what some of your favorite outfits were or any anime or manga recommendations at the moment as well. And of course, don't forget to check out today's video sponsor, award-winning VPN, Surfshark. I did mention they are an absolute travel essential for me and I actually might have some travel content coming up in the very near future, so hopefully you're keen, and in the meantime, I'll be seeing you in some other videos. Bye!